Learning requires children to be courageous, take chances, and explore. Current research on brain development and the role of curiosity and wonder in young children's learning compels us to restructure practice. Surveys show that most early childhood educators request a reduction in academic pressures and more respect for the normal developmental range of abilities in young children. They want less testing, less data, less paperwork, and more time to focus on the individual and unique needs of children. In short, they want more space to implement developmentally appropriate, child-directed learning experiences, or the freedom to play. At Gesell, we have been supporting teachers across the country for nearly a century in understanding and implementing play-based learning. And now, the Connecticut legislature has heard teachers and responded by implementing a play-based learning requirement in public preschool and kindergarten classrooms. But it's important to understand that not all play is created equal. While unfettered exploration is essential to allowing children to grow important skills, so is adult-directed guidance and scaffolding. The teacher or parent, as a guide on the side, can also support and extend play. Here, in brief, we wish to introduce a definition of play that honors a spectrum of play, depending on the adult or child's initiation and direction, and acknowledges the power of play to build brains and support all essential explicit learning goals for preschool and kindergarten students. Let's start with what research tells us grows children's brains best. First, without interruption from external influences, a normatively developing child grows and learns. But we now understand that secure and consistent, caring environments and people best support brain growth. Finally, experiences and interactions, especially physical ones, with others and with the world, support brain development. These experiences can be both self-initiated and other-initiated, and we'll discuss this further. What we understand this to be is play. Next, let's consider what research tells us helps children learn best. First, learning should be active. Children need to be processing information, applying it, and digesting it through application, not just reading, observing, or being lectured to. Second, children need to be engaged. Their attention must be focused on the learning material with minimal distractions. Third, the learning content must be meaningful. It has to be understood in context and then applied. And finally, learning for young children needs to be socially interactive. Children learn best relationally. Again, what we call this is play. But typically, when the word play is used, what comes to mind is free play. And while it's true that free play was the gold standard of play for some time, we now understand play is a spectrum. We need to move away from a binary stance regarding play and toward an integration of perspectives and practices with different types of play understood as complementary rather than incompatible. To this end, we offer the idea of play as a spectrum, that on one end, where the child initiates and then proceeds to direct the play as well, is free play. And at the very other extreme, where an adult initiates and then an adult proceeds to direct, is direct instruction. And between those poles are a variety of ways in which the play can be initiated by the adult or the child, and then directed by either the adult or the child. And when an adult initiates play and then allows the child to direct, we call this guided play or scaffolding. It is in this space where an adult has the opportunity to consider what a child knows, what next learning is appropriate for the child, what materials might best support the child in moving towards that next level of learning, and what kinds of active, engaged, meaningful, and social experiences might help the child move from their current level of understanding to a new level of understanding, all towards explicit learning goals. It is there in that space of guided play where the adult, the parent or the teacher, as the guide on the side, has the capacity to engage a child in developmentally appropriate play that also leads to an explicit learning goal. Research suggests that play-based learning in preschools and kindergartens will benefit most from an integration of these complementary approaches to play in best meeting the developmental and learning needs of young children.